It's a Sunday night rather than a Saturday night, and I do apologize, but it was for a very good reason, actually. Um, my better half's gone away for a while, and as you know, it was kind of hectic with things, and we wanted to just spend the weekend and watch some shows together and just relax, especially where it's Labor Day weekend. So that's what we did. We sat down, we watched some like Drunk History, and quite a bit of Drunk History actually, because that is, by the way, if you've never seen it, it's an awesome show. Derek Waters is the man, definitely with that type of thing. Now, tonight we're going to talk about a few things. I actually did up like kind of a top 20 type list for Scream Factory. My favorite collector's editions, like not like the box sets, but actual, you know, the slipcase collector's editions. I'm going to give you my my top 10 80 films slasher classics collection as well. So I got a top 10 of those. And we are going to talk about the Fright Reg sale that's going on right now. So if you don't know, Fright Regs is having their big Labor Day sale. They've got some really good shirts, some really nice stuff, and a lot of it actually, you know, this is stuff that's going out of print. Oh, thanks, Javed. I've never ordered from Fright Regs before, but that being said, I'm very familiar with the company. Hey, Mug. Hey, welcome again. And I'm let's just say it's been a long time coming for me. Hey, George, because I've been really wanting to get something from Fright Regs for a while, and usually there's like other sales going on at the time. Oh, see, I can just hear myself. It's like in stereo. It freaks me out when that happens. I don't like the sound of my own voice on this thing. If I ever watch myself back, usually what I do is I mute myself and like read your comments down below. Because, yeah, because I do. That scared the crap out of me. Do I think the Bavset will still be available around Black Friday? It's a hard one, Javid. I'll be honest with you. The Bavset looks, the Arrow one, I'm guessing that's what you're talking about, because that's the only one I know about right now, looks to be really, really good. But there's a double-edged sword with the Bavset. One, there's people that are like, I want this set. I lost out on the 6 Gothic Tales set. That was awesome. I don't want to miss out on it again, type of thing. Now, the other way to take that is the Bava films, they've all been released before. As far as I know, the book and the box set, it's the set, you know, the box itself are the only things exclusive to the set. And everything else is just like stuff that's been going on before. You know, I could be wrong. Don't shoot me if I'm wrong, Javid. But I know there's definitely a lot of people that are looking at the set. If you don't have any Bav at all, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You know, if you got the bones, definitely go for it. I got so many Bava that and I'm such a Bava fan though. The thing that I want to know is, and I guess I got to look into it a bit more. So I'm going to guess that the book that's coming with it, that's new writing, right? That's not like the stuff that was in the booklets before. So it's not like the cult classic thing where basically some of the articles are, you know, in that book are going to be articles that me or somebody that's got the Bava sets and the booklets may already have in our collection. I'm going to guess that's new articles. Well, if Arrow has a Black Friday sale, I don't know. I'm trying to remember if Arrow did a Black Friday sale last time. I'm not sure if they did. When Arrow has a sale, though, it's usually across the board with their titles. They don't usually like there'll be some that'll be out of it, but usually the newer stuff, a lot of that'll get in there. And sometimes there'll be things like put in for the sale itself, like the Ring set and the House set, like the reprints of those. But the thing is, right now, the word out on the street is, and I'm not quite sure. I'm not Arrow, so I don't know for sure. But what I've heard is that Arrow are losing the rights to the Bava, and this is their kind of their big last hurrah. You're not weak, dude. That's a really cool set. I can't blame you, man. If I had the money to do that, to grab that set, I would have grabbed it. I just like it took literally like scraping around for me to go get to the Fright Rags one, but there were a couple shirts on films that I really like. So I knew that if I didn't grab them and they went out of print, I would be really bummed because of that. Send them a text. That's actually not a bad idea. If you know for sure you're going to get the set, like I'd pre-order the set first, usually, and then like sell it. Because if you sell off your titles and then you go to pre-order the set and it's sold out, it's but especially if you don't have to pay ahead of time. If you pre-order from Amazon, you don't have to pay ahead of time, but if you pre-order from Arrow, you usually do. Because a lot of companies you don't have to, right? 11 days, 11 nights. 88 Films is a company that I don't give enough coverage to. That's one of the reasons I'm doing my one of my top 10 lists that I'm doing tonight here is 88 Films, my top 10 favorite like slasher classics collection. I'll be honest with you, I didn't get as much work put into this video ahead of time as I wanted to. I had a couple ideas that I was going to do, but I went with this. I went with the list video. I thought that'd be fun. We can talk about anything we want to talk about. We can steer the conversation any way that we want. Did anybody else, before I start the list thing, did anybody else get anything from Fright Rags this time around? Well, they do have special editions, and they do have kind of box sets. Do you want me to do the 88 film stuff before I do the Scream Factory? Because I got like 10 88 films, Scream kind of slasher classics collection. I got a list for those. And I did a list of like top 20 Scream Factory collector's editions. And when I say collector's editions, I like took it box sets and stuff and just went with like regular collector's editions. So basically it has a slipcover and it's got collector's edition written down. But those are my two lists tonight. And I thought we could give us something to talk about and hopefully have some fun with. Hey, B-Movie Archive, this is going pretty good. Oh, Dragon Con. I'm jealous, dude. I am utterly jealous. I am, well, I am, this is it really. My better half's back. And I wanted to, I availed of the Fright Rag sale, Logan. So I got a couple of those coming, which are going to come in handy for certain videos that I'm making. So that'll be good. But I will do like the unbagging, whatever it is, the Fright Rags unbagging here live on the channel when I get it. So watch out for that. I've got the Doctor Who coat coming, and I've got the Fright Rags t-shirts coming. So I'll be doing videos for both of those. And the Doctor Who coat's gonna be a while, so I say usually because it's a fitted coat. All right, let's start with the 88 film stuff, and then we'll go to the Scream Factory stuff. How's that? So I'm just gonna grab this here. So what I'm gonna do tonight with this here, the Blacklight films are great. I like the first one better than the second one, even though Pam Grier's in the second one, but I enjoy them both. All right, so I'm wearing a jacket tonight. I've been all snazzy. Well, I'm downstairs, and it's getting winter time, so. Dude, I'm ready. I cannot forget about the Doctor Who coat. I'm a huge fan, especially, I'm a Capaldi fan, especially. I love that jacket, and it harkens back to the third, so. Nobody gave a better speech than Capaldi. Like that Zygon speech, epic. But if you go and you look through, I watched these videos where basically they did like the big speeches of all the doctors, and Capaldi stood out. He was like an actor. Like they're all actors, but I mean like he really, really stood out. As he should. Even, does he beat up, like, one thing to watch for, if you watch Blacklight, if you watched it recently, or if you're watching it in the near future, then in the first Blacklight film, the chief of police is actually a actor from where I'm from, is from Newfoundland actually, and he's a very famous actor by the name of Gordon Pinson, especially, well, really famous around here, but he actually was in some like Academy nominated films, and he is like a really, really good actor. You can tell if you've ever heard you've heard me do a Newfoundland accent because I'm from Newfoundland, though I moved enough that my accent kind of like just it's kind of weird. But if you've ever heard like a real Newfoundland accent, like Vincent Price. Okay, Gordon Pinsent has a real Newfoundland accent, and so especially in Blackula, you can really tell in Blackula. So he's like the head, the chief of police, the head of the police department, head detective, whatever. So if you watch it again, just keep an eye out for that because you will definitely be able to keep an ear out for it. It sounds, it's obvious, really freaking obvious. But I'm proud because he's one fantastic Newfoundland actor, and used to when he was making his first film, Rowdy Man, which he shot partially in St. John's and partially in Corner Brook, where I was born. He used to hang out with my grandmother, may she rest in peace, and pretty much like he stayed there a couple nights, bunked there because my grandmother was one of those people she knew everybody type thing. All right, so here we go. Top 10 list in no particular order for Slasher Classics collection, of the ones that I have in my collection. So we'll start out with one that was in the kind of a cool, intriguing one. Speaking of like police officers and police and stuff like that, there was this one here, and this is the alternate artwork. There's another artwork. This is Drive-In Massacre. So if you've never seen this movie, it's an unusual little film in that it is a slasher film meets police procedural, heavy on the procedural aspect of it, because the guy that made this film actually was a detective at one point, and it really shows in the scripting of the film and the way that the investigation within the film to catch the killer is played out, and it gives it a little bit more of a kind of a realism to it. I got a drive-in close to where I'm at, but there's not a lot of drive-ins, unfortunately, around anymore. So this is kind of like, it's a fantastic product of a largely bygone era. But if you ever get the chance to go to a drive-in, it's fantastic. I go there not as much as I would like, but I do get there. Drive-In Massacre is a really fun film. There's some cool features on her as well. So there's two versions of the film on this one here. There's the original theatrical version of the film. You get a television cut of the film as well. There is a interview with the director, and there's an interview with slasher expert Justin Kurzweil, who of course is the guy that they go to, like a lot of times. So if you've ever checked out, like Kurzweil is known for being like he did a slasher book, right? He's known for being like kind of like the slasher expert, and 88 Films like avails of his knowledge a lot, and you'll probably hear his name mentioned a couple times throughout this 10 list. Also on here with theatrical trailers, TV spots, 88 Films trailer reel, and of course the alternate artwork, which I'll kind of show you right now, which is the artwork most people know it from, with this right here. Now, one other thing this one has that the other ones, that some of the other later ones don't have, it has this like little booklet. Now, if you've been collecting 88 Films for a while, then you're probably familiar with these. It's kind of like they have these kind of small booklets that are in the earlier slasher classics and the earlier Italian collections. They don't do them anymore, as far as I know. I don't think they still do, unless it's kind of like a special edition. But when they originally started, most of, if not all of the originals had the booklets in there, and they're actually really good reading. So this one here is done by, who did this one? Philip Escott, an interview with John F. Goff, Confessions of a B-Movie Veteran. Do Vinegar Syndrome do booklets? They do booklets. Not very often, but there's a few that do have booklets. Ironically, what's the name of it now? Actually, Massage Parlor Murders has a booklet in it, and I think so does I think it's Sugar Cookie or something like that. Hey, Jason, it is a late night video. Originally, though, Jason, when I was working at my old job, my videos would normally be late at night, because I would get off late at night and I would be doing a video usually after I got home from work. So where I'm starting again, hopefully now on this, if everything goes well, soon. So I'm not sure what time. I'm going to try time my videos so like earlier, but every once in a while you're going to be a late one like this, so put it in there. Oh, you can always, dude, always feel free to ask anything. We are topicless, so ask away, Jabbit. It's number 10. So before I go to number 9, Javid, what do you want to ask? Give me a chance to get a drink more fresca. I'll go to number 9. I'll wait for you to type it out. All right, so number 9 is Dead of Winter. This is a fantastic little film. If you haven't seen it, it's not what films that repeat viewings. For me, Black Christmas, Halloween, Halloween 2. This is going to seem pretty. Citizen Kane, Kiss Me Deadly. A lot of my Doctor Who stuff. I'm trying to think, what do I watch over and over again? A lot of documentaries. I watch a lot of documentaries. I've seen King of Kong I don't know how many times. Same thing with like Room 247. Not Quite Hollywood is probably one of the most watched things in my collection. There's a few actually. A lot of the film noir, the Charlie Chan stuff I watch over and over again. It depends on the mood I'm in. And the same thing with TV. Like I recently started rewatching Battlestar Galactica again as well. So it's the best documentaries. Room 237 is great. Not Quite Hollywood. It belongs in everybody's collection. God, I'm going to totally get his name wrong. Alejandro Jodorowsky's Dune is utterly brilliant. Okay, what else was there? I would say Image Revolution, the story behind Image Comics. Umbrella version of Not Quite Hollywood? I got the other version. I don't have the Umbrella version. Was there a big difference? 88 Films Slasher Classics Collection. No, so the Italian collection. I would say if I really love the Bloodstained Shadow, or Live Like a Hey, welcome to, or Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Would be one of those two. Over 9 hours of bonuses. Yeah, I kind of need that. I got my edition of Not Quite Hollywood a long time ago when Blockbuster was around. So, Dead of Winter, by the way, is a remake of a film that was done back in the 40s, I guess. My Name is Julie Ross. So it is kind of definitely a loose remake of that. Great film with a great cast. If you've never seen it, it's got Mary Steenburgen, Roddy McDowall, right? Pretty sure it's right. Yeah, Roddy McDowall. And this was shot in Canada. So Juan Rubes is in this one as well. I hope I pronounced his name right this time. And just a really cool film by Arthur Penn. If you've never seen it, really check it out. Logan, this is definitely one you should get. Not Quite Hollywood. Yeah, I bought it just before. I'm pretty sure Not Quite Hollywood was one. Yeah, because it's in one of my cases, type of cases. This is the original case, by the way, for Dead of Winter, which I'm going to switch around to because this one kind of sucks, to be honest with you. Let's be blunt here. See this? I don't like it. Normally, I don't change it around because I like this Slasher Classics logo that's on the front. You ever seen which one? Evil Town. Did you really? Is it like become like one of those like little favorites of you? Like, you know, when you find those kind of those hidden favorites that you didn't know existed? I got a lot of films like that. I got to rewatch Evil Town. I thought it was kind of fun and cheesy, but I think the fact that Evil Town's Vinegar Syndrome, they're one of those new big ones that they did. They're with the special cases and the big poster. They did Evil Town and Savage Harbor. So this is the original artwork for Dead of Winter, the VSA title. Thanks, Mike. And I think this looks way better, don't you? Like, this is way scary, way more on the terrifying side. You can tell, like, she's scared there. And it reminds me, kind of, it's got like this eerie similarity to like the actual original artwork for When a Stranger Calls with the telephone dial. But anyway, number 8. Number 7 is not going to be a big surprise to anybody because you asked me what titles I watch a lot. This is one of the ones that I watch a lot. And that is Nail Gun Massacre. I just really get a kick out of those. Oh yeah, I got to dust a bit. Like it's the nature of the game when it comes to stuff like that. You know, you I got like this thing, like you kind of get up and dust, but I gotta take down my box hits, dust it off, and do that type of thing. Hey, Hammers, Sand. So this is Nail Gun Massacre. As you guys know, this is one that if you're watching for a long time, I used to do a kind of a vlogcast with my kids when I lived in St. John's called the Buck 98 Special. That comes from like a sequence in this film here that I've talked about many times, so I won't bore you too much with that. But this is a really fun one. It's a regional horror film done in Texas. No, Toolbox Murders is more of like it's definitely more of a realistic type of film. Uh, this is like, yeah, this is kind of the so bad it's good type of movie. Uh, you got this killer with the kind of this Texas type of accent that keeps doing these. I have not yet actually, Jason. I haven't seen the October releases from On Macabre. That actually might make for a good video tomorrow. So I'll check them out tonight, and we'll get that. Yeah, maybe that'll be something we'll do tomorrow. Because I'm not. I don't know if I got anything coming. I don't think I've got anything coming right now. Not for not for another couple weeks anyway. But thank you for that idea. But yeah, the killer like tries to crack a lot of jokes. Tries to be kind of almost Freddy Krueger-esque, not in the dream demon way, but in like the one-liner type of way. Yeah, it's a movie you gotta that has to be seen to be believed, because there's a sequence in this film, and I kind of feel like, and I'd have to look through it again, that they changed their mind around halfway through the movie and who the killer was, especially due to certain sequences. Either that or the actual real killer was never caught. Never directed anything after this. Well, they gave us that one classic, so that's always good. I always expected them to do another Nail Gun Massacre or like a sequel to it, which never happened. With a lot of films like this, they're not like a studio film where you got the sequel kind of put in like right away. It's kind of marked, yeah, this if this is popular, we can do a sequel to it. We can sequelize it, that type of thing. With Nail Gun Massacre, wasn't exactly like that. This one, definitely, I always recommend people pick this one up. I've got both versions of this film. I got a Vinegar Syndrome edition of this film, and I've got the 88 Films edition of the film. That is the classic Splatter University. I would call it sort of Z grade. I mean, like, it's hard to say. I mean, like, when I think of a Z grade movie, then you, and I love Z grade movies, so I don't. When I say it, it's not a. I don't. I'm not saying it in a detrimental way. I think more like a Ray Dennis Steckler or a Ted V. Michaels type of thing. But when I say Z grade, it doesn't mean like the quality of the film itself. It could mean like the budget and kind of stuff like that. I tend to like a lot of the films that I'm going to say, I guess, more mainstream people wouldn't like. Like Evil Town, for instance. That's a Z grade horror film. That doesn't mean it make it a bad thing. Evil Town, I don't think is the type of movie that would go into like that would fit right into the American Horror Project. It's a fun film, and it's kind of like it's so good, so bad it's good type of film. But from everything I've seen from the American Horror Project, it's definitely filmed. I say it's filmed on film. It looks like it's filmed on film. That the American Horror Project, as regional horror as it is, does have kind of a loftier, seems to have a loftier goal. That's a fantastic Z grade film. Ray Dennis Stickler is not talked about enough. I'll do a video on him sometime. I don't have a lot of his work here. That's the reason that I haven't done any, but I've seen most of, if not all of his films. But I did, I went through this period where I watched a lot of Ray Dennis Stickler, a lot of Art Child Jr. stuff. So I'll talk about them sometime. Though I would like to have some of their stuff before I really got into them. That's like Andy Milligan. I'm a big Andy Milligan fan, but I haven't talked about his stuff very often because, to be completely honest with you, I don't have a lot of Andy Milligan in my collection yet. Oh yeah, definitely. Evil Town and Evils of the Night is a perfect double feature for Vinegar Syndrome. Splatter University is a way more. If you want to see Z grade, this would definitely be Z grade. Splatter University is a movie that's conflicting within itself. It's a movie that started out to be something, and then you had to go back and reshoot like other sequences of the film with other actors, and the new sequences did not gel well with the original sequences. You do. I mean, like you get some really good ones. Like, and I'm glad you asked when I had this from Cinematheque because this is a perfect example. I utterly love. Actually, I haven't watched Bloodsuckers from Outer Space yet. I don't think I. No, I didn't get that one. That's the reason I haven't watched it. So I haven't got it either. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it. So speaking of special features with 88 films, for instance, this one right here as a special feature. Oh, have a great night, PlayStation 9. Oh yeah, I've got like Vinegar Syndrome, Andy Milligan, and I got this one right here. But if anybody ever wants to send me any Andy Milligan or Ray Dennis Stickler or any stuff like that, let me know. Hit me up. This here has this is kind of crazy. It's a fun film though. Like I really do. I mean, when I did like the podcast, suggested this podcast when we talked about this film, I definitely liked it more than Brian did. That's for sure. But I really got a kick out of it. Now, what's really neat about this edition of it is that this one right here, I'm going to show you right now, has a second film on it. A later film that Richard W. Haynes, the director of this film, did called What Really Frightens You. So you're getting two films with this one. Not only do you get two films, but you're also going to get the audio commentary by Richard Haynes, Splatter Scholar interview with Justin Kurzweil, again, another interview with him, Stills Gallery trailer, TV spots, 88 Films trailer reel. And again, there's the original cover there, which has Elizabeth Catan in it. Bloodstained Shadow is amazing. That was a good pickup. Now, Elizabeth Catan is probably most famous for being that redheaded girl in Friday the 13th Part 7, I think, or most infamous for being, well, the girlfriend in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, being Billy's girlfriend. Billy, right? No, Ricky. No, not Billy. I get them confused sometimes. But yeah, definitely they got a lot of features. This one actually has a bonus film. I don't mean like a short film or like a short. No, it's like a 90-minute film on here. So really, really good pickup there. A lot of them have some features on there. When they have like anything really significant, I'll make sure to point it out. One of my first ones that I picked up from them and was this one here, which is Don't Go in the Woods Alone, which is definitely Z grade. But it is so atrociously bad that it's good. That you're like that. There's sequences where you just definitely won't. Yeah, but this is a fun one. Feature wise, we're looking at two audio commentaries on here, along with a making of, I think an hour-long making of Don't Go in the Woods, talk show appearances. This one I think has a booklet, right? So yeah, Don't Go Alone in the Woods does have a booklet, and it is by Callum Waddle, who used to work with Arrow, but they had a falling out, quite a public falling out. Of course, this is number 3. Next up is the classic Trauma film, Mother's Day. Well, I gave the answer though. Like I said, the Italian classic. Well, this is be my top 10 for that. But the Italian collection, definitely, it's going to be from the ones that I got. Bloodstained Shadow and Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Those are two that I strongly recommend if you don't have them. Like they have some great stuff on these. I mean, like these have some decent features too. This is actually a fun film. I actually really like Mother's Day, and it did the ending kind of. So I agree, Thomas. The ending kind of freaked me out because I would think that I would have seen it coming a mile away. I didn't. Really cool film. So you get like a bunch of stuff. Audio commentary with Charles Kaufman, the guy that directed the film, and Rex Piano, this guy's name. Charles Kaufman introduction, Rex Piano introduction, behind the scenes Super 8 footage, Eli Roth, Mother's Day. Say what you want about like whether you like Eli Roth's films or not. listening to Eli Roth talk about films, utterly brilliant. The guy is so like enthusiastic and so like he's all in when he's talking about cinema. That you can't help but kind of respect that and like that, even if you don't like a lot of his films. So next up is the there's Charles Kaufman and Darren Boseman, Talk Mother's Day. This one had a cool little booklet as well, right here. And actually, when I was with when I spoke with when I got to speak with Lloyd Kaufman a few years back in Montreal, when I was buying all the trauma releases that I bought, I remember picking up a Mother's Day pin, actually one of those little pins with the mother on it. But I find it so creepy that I've never ever actually worn it. Next up is it's kind of a big one. Well, that kind of is what he does. Like when you really think about it, like look at what's the one that he did? Cabin Fever, right? That doesn't feel. A lot of people like crap on the film, and to me, that if you take it in the way that you just mentioned, that does seem more grindhousey, more of like a regional type film. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff, like the Hostel films. There's kind of loftier goals there, but at the end of the day, Hostel and Hostel 2 are really just kind of maybe slightly bigger budget grindhouse type films. And I love the Rotten Fruit shorts they did. Those are on Cabin Fever. You gotta check those out. But Green Inferno wasn't for me because I'm not a real big cannibal person. But I understand his love for that genre, and I'd like definitely kudos to him for going out and doing that, because there are people that actually are really into that stuff. Now this one here, Graduation Day. This one was also put up Vinegar Syndrome as well. This one, however, has some neat stuff. This one has one that I was like, you're gonna pick up a slasher classics collection one. I still haven't seen his Death Wish remake. Is that the one with Bruce Willis? Did he do that? Okay. Or Jimmy, he did Death Wish? I did not know that was. Oh, I honestly 100% did not know it was him. But I'll definitely check it out. I can imagine Eli Roth being a little bit hands tied when it comes to a Bruce Willis starring feature, because let's be honest, it doesn't matter who's behind the camera. Bruce Willis gets what Bruce Willis wants most of the time. So just watched the Kevin Smith thing on that. This one is really cool, and one of the reasons I recommend this one, this has a feature-length documentary on it, not about Graduation Day, but he could do it. I think he could definitely do it. But it has one on Scream Queen. So Scream Queens, Horror Heroines Exposed. So it is a 90-minute documentary on Scream Queens. And they interview a ton of people, like Debbie Rochon, Michelle Bauer, Adrienne King, Melanie Kinnaman, Jennifer Lim, Lynn Lowry, Danielle Harris, Katrina McCall, Cassandra Peterson, Lenny Quigley, Brink Stevens, just many more people than that. This is a really cool film with a really unique, different Scream Queen than you normally see in the character and Patch McKenzie. But this has a feature-length documentary on Scream Queens included in here. So it's like, again, you get a bonus movie, and this time it's a bonus kind of cool horror documentary. When he gets excited about something, I think he does okay. And this one here, of course, as Graduation Memories, exclusive interview with author and critic Justin Kurzweil, introduction by Lloyd Kaufman, interview with Scream Queen Lenny Quigley, the Cannibal Lesbian Hoden music video, which is something that has absolutely nothing to do with this, but it was put on because it was one of the trauma things that was put on during the trauma release, and a couple other trauma non-related featurettes on there as well. If you've ever bought a trauma film, then you know that trauma with their features, with their special features, they'll have a couple things that'll relate to the film, and then they'll have a bunch of stuff, kind of promotional stuff, kind of thrown at the wall type of thing. Now, I'll be honest in the fact that Die Hard with a Vengeance, that's the third Die Hard movie, right? That's the one Samuel L. Jackson was in. I wasn't a big fan of it when it came out, and I would really have to rewatch it. So the thought of Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, even though I'm a real big fan of Samuel L. Jackson, being in in another Die Hard film really doesn't excite me because I just didn't. It didn't. I love the first two Die Hard films, like really do. I really love the first two. I think the second one is just on par in my opinion with the first one. Not as good, but almost on par with the first one. But then for me, like the Die Hard films, is kind of downhill from there. Butt Crack. Actually, I haven't seen that one. It doesn't surprise me that's one of their films, but I've seen it. All right, so next up is Slumber Party Massacre 3, which is Teenage Wasteland, and also Slumber Party Massacre 2, Unhappy Campers, right? Yeah, Unhappy Campers. And I like both of these films. Neither one of these girls, of course, is Pamela Springsteen, but these are really, really cool films, especially this one. This one, the writing is kind of weak. The performances, they seem a bit. These films were shot back to back, and you can tell because by the time. Are you serious? What am I? I should be surprised. It's trauma. Should be a laugh though. By the time they got to filming part 3, you could kind of tell that everybody was tired. Pamela Springsteen was tired. She was pretty checked out for part 3. She's still doing it. Even the writer seemed checked out for part 3. But it's a fun film for what it is. But Sleepaway Camp 2, excellent film. One of the great horror comedies of all time. And just really gets everything right. I'm going to look for that film now. And last but not least, for the 88 Film Slasher Classics collection, you guys, I can say you're quiet, you guys are pretty good, is the Children of the Corn trilogy. I really kind of dug this. Children of the Corn, the first one, actually, probably my least favorite out of these 3 films, to be honest with you. But one thing it does have, it has an amazing featurette on here. There is The Life, Legacy, and Legends of Donald P. Borchers. I guess that's right. So he's a producer, and he produced Children of the Corn. But he also produced Angel, Crimes of Passion for Ken Russell, Doppelganger, Two Moon Junction, Vamp, Meatballs series, a ton of films. And so he's not just talking about, he talks about every he produced all the Children of the Corn films. He talks about the Children of the Corn films, other movies he produced. It's a really fascinating documentary. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. I don't know if this box is still around, or was this limited edition? I can't remember it. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure. Anyway, if you can't, you can get them separately anyway if you can't get the box set. But it's a really cool one. And so that is my 88 Films section of this. Before I go to Scream Factory, let's talk a second. Yeah, they are definitely available individually. Now, a while back, actually a couple videos ago, I started to talk about the Vinegar Syndrome box set. And I said we'd get back to it and we'd kind of think about, we'd kind of bandy about what we think our guesses are for that Vinegar Syndrome set. Now, I got to look at the set a little bit more, just online stuff, just kind of and it looks like it fits. What was wrote on the white box? So what was wrote on the white box? Somebody somebody thought it could have been Return. Was it you who thought it could be Return of the Living Dead? Like RLD or something like that? I honestly don't expect it to be Return of the Living Dead. Because if it is Return of the Living Dead, then we know it's not going to be Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2. That's pretty much a given. That's, those are, I think, Scream Factory. Was it Scream Factory that put those out? Scream Factory put those out, right? I think it's a cryptic message. Because that will mean that would be Return of the Living Dead 3, 4, and 5. And I have them in my collection, and they're really, really bad. And they're not movies that I think deserve an upgrade, to be completely honest with you, to be blunt. But with that being said, so what do you think it means? What do you think that cryptic message means? Because it's curious and it's interesting to see. It's on. You said it's on their Instagram, right? So let me go to the Vinegar Syndrome's Instagram. I'm going to close this up here for a second. And let's go to search. Yeah. See, because, all right, see what it says here. I'm going to try and, is that a POCD or ROCD or LD 8/26/19? Which I guess is the date, August 26, 19 is when they did this. When you look at the inside of the box, if you've seen the picture, I'll show up. It's going to be white, so it's not going to be easy to see. So here's the box right here. And there it is, kind of opened up. There it is, completely open. As you can see, it looks like it can fit around 3 to 4 Blu-rays in there. Maybe, looks like around 3 Blu-rays, maybe with a booklet. Or maybe 4 if they're doing a slim line. You think it could be something that's not necessarily one theme. That's a possibility. That's a strong possibility, actually. That's what I would kind of go with. I'm kind of like, I've heard like some people like putting out things. I've heard somebody say the Return of the Living Dead. I think that would be a severe mistake. I heard somebody say Toxic Avenger, and I would be glad to see a new Toxic Avenger box set come out, but not for Halloween. Toxic Avenger is a fun, cheesy, trauma-esque superhero type of film, like gory superhero type film, but it's definitely not a horror base that I'd want, actually. They've been really good at doing like horror-oriented stuff for Halloween every year. So seeing a box set come from them is really intriguing, and it could be something. I want it to be something that's not out there. I want it to be something that is horror, and that like when they originally announced it, before like everything came out, when I thought, okay, maybe it's the Mirror Mirror collection. That was, and I was really excited. And then I'm not sure, was it Dark Forces or Dark Factory or Scorpion or somebody like that? Mentioned like that they put out the Mirror Mirror, and I really dashed my hopes there. So Angel for a November release, fantastic mug, but for like an October release, I don't think I'd be the only person peeved if the October box set was super non-horror related, and there may be a killer in the first Angel film, but let's be honest, the Angel series, it's not a horror film series. It's not that type of franchise. And usually they do have 2 boxes coming out, so I'd be perfectly fine with Angel being the November release, because I love the Angel films, or Ilsa being the November release. But as long as you put all the Angel films there. Neither one is a good choice. I mean, like, the Angel films are good films, but everything that we know about the last 2 to 3 years of Vinegar Syndrome's October package is like, there's one thing that's a certain. There's always one thing that's a given, and that is they are horror-oriented releases, and like one way or another. Like even when they put an adult title, A Woman's Torment, in there, that was much like kind of a version of Repulsion. It was very much a horror title. See, that's the most intriguing thing, is if they do something like American Horror Project, maybe they do something different. I'm okay with like, I don't think it's going to be, I thought about like a different country, and like maybe like we're doing some of the Spanish horror, maybe there could be something like that that's being done. Lately, I'll be honest, the company that's been knocking it out of the park for me has been Severin, and they have been putting out some really good stuff. Puppet Master, Charles Band isn't going to let that happen. He's very, very tight with that. And somebody asked there, like, why wouldn't Trauma be putting out Toxic Avenger? Full Moon, Trauma and Vinegar Syndrome have a deal. And there's certain films that they got from Vinegar Syndrome. Obviously, stuff they put out stuff like remastered, like The Children, and definitely a few other releases as well. There's been a few like Trauma films that has popped up in the Vinegar Syndrome library. I just don't want to see Toxic Avenger box set as an October release. I wouldn't buy it. I don't think, or I wouldn't buy it for October. And if it wasn't available afterwards, I'd be bummed, but I'd be okay. Because to me, Toxic Avenger, not a horror film, and not something I'd personally want to see. Like, obviously, at the end of the day, this is Vinegar Syndrome's, like, this is their dice they're throwing out there. And I got faith in them. I got faith that this box set is going to be something kind of cool. The only way it could disappoint me is, like, if it was Return of the Living Dead, or if it was, like, Toxic Avenger. Prom Night 1 and 2. See, Prom Night 1 was put up by Synapse. Now, that being said, Prom Night 2, 3, and 4, I thought they're owned by Lionsgate. But I'm not sure what the rights are over, where it's being. But I would love to see a really good edition of Prom, like, because Prom Night 3 and 4 have never really had really good, especially 3. 3 has been butchered in its, like, aspect ratio. Well, the good thing about that is that they do offer an R-rated version of the film if you don't if you want to watch the hardcore scenes. And you're right in that the hardcore sequences within The Woman's Torment are very. You can tell that the director that's making the film, Roberta Findlay, she's focused on the story of the film and not the adult aspect of it. The adult thing is almost like a. Oh, definitely. I love the behind scenes story with The Woman's Torment. And you can tell that's what she's focusing on. It's basically, she's focusing on, like, the kind of the psychology of it and the stuff behind the scenes. She's not focusing on the on the sexual aspect of it. Anybody going in to watch Woman's Torment hoping that it's going to be like a film with great titillation or something like that are going to be kind of severely disappointed. A lot of films that were done around that time were done to of adult films, of films with an adult nature that had more of, like, a different type of story, like actually tried to put a storyline and stuff in there. Usually, especially from somebody like Roberta Findlay or like Andy Milligan, they would focus strongly more on the story itself and on the characterization, and wouldn't focus on any sexual scenes that they had to put in there were very minimal. And that's the same thing with The Woman's Torment. Though they do drive the help. I do watch the X-rated version of it because I do think that it helps to drive the narrative along, especially in the type of film that it is. I've always liked that film. Basically, that was one that I found out through Vinegar Syndrome. I hadn't seen it before. Like, I definitely had not seen the entire film before. And it's just one that really stuck out with me. One that really, really, like, stuck with me. And I guess it's just there's certain aspects of it that kind of got under my skin. But I think more than anything else, if I had to put it down to one thing that made like entrance me with A Woman's Torment, that is going to be the portrayal of the lead actress. The one that walks away, literally walks away from the film. But yeah, because sometimes you'll see an actress and she'll just have this kind of, I don't know, this je ne sais quoi, that you really can't, like, you can't bottle it. It's just something that they have that makes them intriguing just to watch. And I found her like that. So that's probably the biggest reason. I do think Roberta Findlay is underrated as a director as well. And Scanners Cop 1 and 2. I don't think so. You know what? I would give that one a pass. As in, like, I would be okay with that. It looks bigger than the Scanners Cop 1 and 2. Bigger than the box set. Blind Dead box set, I don't think so. That would be good. But I really think if we're ever, Blind Dead was one of them was recently put up by Scream Factory. The rights issues to get the Blind Dead movies all together, it's a bit of a nightmare. So unless you got the old, I think Anchor Bay or Blue Underground one, whichever one that Kaufman got up there is on DVD, then you're probably not going to see a Blind Dead box set like all together in North America anytime in the near future. So I really don't think it's going to be anything like that. Like right now, from what they said about it, like what, and they've put like little hints out and stuff, but I don't think anybody has guessed the Vinegar Syndrome box set as of this date. If they do, like I'm behind on finding out what it is. I thought about like a lot of different stuff. I thought about the Witchcraft series of films, and I would have been down with that. I would have totally bought the Witchcraft series of films. They're cheesily, horribly Z-grade bad films, but they're really like they have some decent actors, like decent like especially female leads in some of the early films. Julia Strain's the one, but so I would have been okay with that. Night Eyes, although that yeah, I guess that's kind of horror, so I would have been okay with that. Uh, Jack Frost 2. Jack Frost 2 is an okay film, but it's one. It's not definitely not a box set. Jack Frost 2 is coming. Like I'd buy Jack Frost 2. I got Jack Frost. I don't want it to be a box set though. It's definitely Jack Frost 2 is not deserving of a box set. It's deserving of being like a regular release with a couple features on. I got the DVD of it, and it's an okay film. It pretty much like apes Gremlins is what it does. It kind of apes Gremlins or Gremlins 2 to a certain extent. But but I mean it's really hard to try and like I don't think anybody's like been able to like crack that nut yet. And usually like sometimes things leak or people like just say, "Oh, I know what it is. It's going to be this," and people are like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." I haven't actually. How long ago did that one come out? There's a lot of English cinema that I haven't seen yet, unfortunately. That would, if Jack Frost 2 was its own box set, that would that would piss a lot of people off too. Like that would majorly piss a lot of people off. That's no, I haven't got anything last couple of months. I usually around sale I'll slack off, and then around sale time I'll grab some stuff. I think that it's going to be like super low budget stuff. Sounds like my type. I like a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff. September looked to be a really interesting month. I didn't get any of them right now because I can't. My better half's birthday is this month, but next month I'll bets are off because that's October. That's when I try to do my stuff. All right. Well, we're still going with that. Well, we're talking about that. I'm going to do a top 20 Scream Factory list. Yeah, that's not going to be. Think about box sets, guys. Think what you're going to think about is it's either a series of films, like I don't know, like the Boogeyman, Ole Lummel's Boogeyman films, or maybe Andrew Stevens' Night Eyes films, or I don't know the Body Chemistry series or something like that, but or it's going to be thematically done, and it could be like the Spanish horror series set or Spanish horror project or something along the lines of like something along the lines of that, or maybe like a slasher collection of 3 slashers that haven't been out on Blu-ray, or maybe some that aren't even out on DVD. But I would say I'd go towards something along the lines of that, something that we haven't seen on Blu-ray, and that they're bringing there. I think it'll be more thematic than it'll be like a series. Out of all the ones that I've mentioned, I think Promenade 2, 3, and 4 would definitely be like the strongest one that I would say would be, and that would sell out. But some of the other ones like would take a little bit longer to sell out. Yes, they are. The Troll films were put out by Scream Factory Cinematheque, and not only that, they put them out with the Best Worst Movie documentary as well. on its own disc. So that was kind of cool. Speaking of Scream Factory, let's do some. Okay, I did the top 20 list of my favorite top 20 Scream Factory releases. Collector's edition, basically ones with the slipcovers, but I did not include any box sets or anything like that because I think that's kind of its own thing. So as we're talking, and you guys can talk on, or you can ask me questions about any of these films, by the way. I have a top 20 list of Scream Factory collector's editions that I really enjoyed. First up, and they're not in any particular order, is Urban Legend. I'm a huge fan of this film. I'm a big fan of Jamie Blank's. I think that's definitely like a Species box set. I could see it. I probably wouldn't go for it, but I can see it. I really want something in the slasher. Like the thing is, right now, I really want something in the slasher genre right now. My slasher tooth is kind of like needs something, and I want something along the lines of either like a slasher film or like an Italian type thing, like a Night Killer, or a gentle type of thing. That's what I'm hoping for. That's kind of like the that's my hope, is that we're going to get something that's going to be kind of cool and different. I mean, yeah. Anyway, number 20, or in no particular order, Urban Legend. Fantastic one. It has a second disc that has, hey Sculder, that is a full-length documentary which goes from like just the conception of the film right into like basically the film's opening to like basically how the film did. This is a really great documentary. It's got like it's got casting on there. It's fantastic. If you've never seen Urban Legend, it's a fantastic little film. I definitely recommend you check it out. And this is a great addition by Scream Factory. It is one of the best things, in my opinion, that they put out, because they just went all in on that documentary, and it just kicked butt. It seriously did. The next two on my list are the two very first films that Demons 2, 3, and Remake. All of Films had part two. I got part two from All of Films. I'm not quite sure, what the time frame for their, for that they have it for. Yeah, I'd probably buy that. That's something more along the lines of something that I'd buy. But I got part two already, so I did have to put on some good features for part two. Halloween, and that messed up my, Halloween 3 and Halloween 2. The very first Scream Factories that were ever put out are these two right here. The cover art is utterly gorgeous on both of these. Halloween 2 had the TV cut of it, which I really enjoyed. The features were just like, it was insane, the amount of features that they put on to these releases. These were their original, the original two releases. I'm a huge fan of Halloween 2. I'm a huge fan of Halloween 3. Getting these in my collection at the time were like huge for me, were like amazingly big deals. I don't want to say huge again, seems like I'm saying too much. But I love the artwork. Just utterly gorgeous artwork for both of these films. And this is basically, these are the editions that they deserve. Of course, I've got the Scream Factory Halloween box set, but I would never get rid of my original two Scream Factory releases. This is the first two. This is the genesis of the company. And if you ever get a chance to get these, even if you got the Halloween box set, these are gorgeous, and they're worth owning. And as you can see, I kept my two original stickers on there as well. And I'm a really big fan of the silver shamrock sticker. You guys, I'm wondering if this list thing is not a mistake now. You guys are so quiet. Valentine, Jamie Blanks again, and it is a really good edition. There's some great interviews on here. This is the best that Valentine has ever looked. I love this cover art. Such a cool film, and the commentary has Jamie Blanks and Don Coscarelli. And author Peter Brack So that's kind of a cool uh, list of people because you got Peter Brack who did like Friday the 13th, Crystal Lake, Chronicles, Crystal Lake Memories Chronicles. You got Don Coscarelli who did Phantasm, and you got the director Jamie Blanks. That's a cool list of people for for a commentary for Valentine. And I don't think I've listened to this commentary, or if I did, I haven't listened to it all yet. So I really gotta check the commentary out. I'm actually very curious. It's a little late, so I probably won't listen to it tonight, but I'm gonna put that aside to listen to this week because that is a really cool combination. Next up is The Burning, which is a 1982 classic. Great Savini special effects in this film. Really love the character of Cropsey. Love the way that he was done. Not a lot of features on this one. I was actually very disappointed by the lack. Hey, David. By the lack of features on this release. There's Blood and Fire Memories, and there's an audio commentary. Not a lot of stuff, but pretty cool. Next up is Sleepaway Camp, which again, this is the original classic one. I didn't put 2 and 3 in here because I'd already put that in my 80 film slasher classics collection. But again, some really cool stuff. It even has this cool little short film called Judy, which is kind of fun. Kind of to find out what happened to the character of Judy, who had one of the most memorable attack sequences in Sleepaway Camp. Next on the list was one that they didn't do a new remaster of. Just basically put it out on Blu-ray with some new interviews and stuff like that. But that being said, hey MF, I still could not resist putting The Craft here because it is a favorite film of mine. I actually really do 1:20 in the morning, dude. Originally, David, I used to do these videos. It's 2:20 here, by the way, in Canada. I used to do these videos really late in the at night when I basically, especially around last year. When I started doing these last year, I used to do a lot of really late night streams, and there were some of my more popular ones, to be honest with you. So who knows if I can get enough people in the late night ones as doing the earlier ones, I'll kind of mix it up a bit every once in a while. But I will always usually let you know on their Instagram. Usually Instagram's the best place to go, or on Twitter, to let you know that I'm going to be doing a video. I'll usually make a short video tweet or Instagram live video to let you know that I'm going to be doing one. So I always try to do that. The Craft, I just love this film. Great film. I mean, Robin Tunney made this one right after she did Empire Records. So the wig actually is pretty good because she shaved her head for Empire Records. So when she made this film, she wears a wig that looks a lot like her actual hair. I really didn't notice it that much actually, that it was a wig. Fruza Balk steals the movie though, and the line, "We are the weirdos," kind of sticks with you, especially if you're one of the weirdos. Next up is one that I really enjoyed, and I gotta give props to Miss Stephanie Crawford, who I was listening to an episode of Just the Discs, and she pimped this one out like crazy. She said a lot of great stuff about it. It's one that had definitely fallen off my radar. I said, maybe I'll pass up on this one. She listened to Just the Disc podcast that she was on. She talked me into it. I'm glad she did because I had a blast with this one. I'd forgotten how fun this film was. House on Haunted Hill. There are great features on this one, some really, really great features. And stuff like A Tale of Two Houses is a vintage featurette, but it's really well done. New interviews with William Malone and composer Don Davis. The features on this one are worth it alone. But it's a fun little 90s film, 90s or aughts film that basically, is it 90s or aughts? I'm trying to remember what year this one was done. 99, so just before, so 99. Really great release. So I wanted to pick one of the Tales from the Crypt films, and I chose Bordello of Blood, basically because one, it's a really fun film, it's super cheesy, and two, the behind the scenes on this one is really fun. Basically, Dennis Miller was a jerk, but it worked for the film. And it's really interesting to hear them talking about Dennis Miller's ego and stuff on the film, and different things that went on behind the scenes. The original one, Demonite, is probably for a more serious horror film. It's a better film that way. But Bordello of Blood has kind of a place in my heart for its super utter cheesiness, and the special features kind of put it over the top. I too like Demon Knight more as a film, but as for the edition, I had to go with Bordello of Blood because I like the super cheesiness of it and behind the scenes stuff on Bordello of Blood. A bit more, they're both interesting, but the back behind the scenes friction made Bordello of Blood be the one that I chose. Next up is Carrie. You guys know I love this film. I'm a huge Brian De Palma fan. I have many editions of this film, and I just love this artwork too, by the way. I think this is utterly gorgeous artwork for the movie Carrie. Hey Trini, ton of features on here as well. Just great stuff, new stuff and old stuff. Horrors, Hallowed Grounds is on here. Stephen King, The Evolution of Carrie. They even talked about the musical. So just some really cool stuff on there as well. Next up is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. I know this would not be on anybody else's list but mine, but I do enjoy this film, especially for the insane Matthew McConaughey in this film. This is definitely the weakest portrayal of weakest portrayal of Leatherface in any of the films. In this one right here, Leatherface is almost like an afterthought within this film. Every other character seems to be like a stronger character than Leatherface, and I don't really blame the actor himself. You know, he could only work with what he was given. It has a insane, crazy ending. There are two versions, the theatrical cut and the director's cut of the film on here. Some decent interviews, obviously, because of the fact that they had Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, and especially, and apparently their publicists really worked hard to get that film buried and never put out. Like originally, when this was shown, the artwork for this one had Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey right here, like up here. But they had for something happened, legal happened, and those pictures went off this thing. Jeff Burr's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, I think, is a really solid sequel. I really enjoyed Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. I never got the hate for the film that a lot of people gave it. I mean, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, you got Ken Foree in the film. Oh, it was fantastic. You get like R.A. Meloff doing like Leatherface, and he does a really good job. It's got a really good like mask too for Leatherface. You get the huge chainsaw. You get the girl from Friday 13th Part 7 playing the creepy little girl in in Texas Chainsaw 3. I've been seeing a lot of hate for Part 3. It doesn't deserve it. I mean, like when I see nowadays like people reviewing Part 3, and I'll start watching, and if it starts hitting the hate train right away, I don't finish the video usually. I mean, like I'm all like everybody has their own opinion, but I do feel that with certain films, like people just hit on this hate train. I like 3D. I'm one of the few people that do, but I've got like a bias towards sorry, I got a bias with that film. One, I saw that film in theater with my oldest kid, and we had a great time. Two, I got to meet Gunnar Hansen in Montreal before he'd passed, and he talked very, very like highly of the film, and that stuck. His excitement for it stuck with me, and it made it more enjoyable when I went to see it with my kid, and we had fun. And of course, also got Alexandra Daddario, who's utterly one of the most gorgeous actresses out there. So that didn't hurt either. And I like the fact that Leatherface, for me, it's the picked on, bullied character from the original, and from a lot of the sequels. People tend to forget that Leatherface isn't the big monster in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface is he looks the scariest, but he's not the scariest. The other members of the family are, you know, the hitchhiker. The there's the other characters in the family are super. Leatherface is the Puttabon character. That's what didn't work for me. For instance, about the new Leatherface film, the one that came out recently, this was directed by the guys that did it Inside, which is a film that I highly respect. But I didn't like the new Leatherface film that came out. I, I watched it twice in a row, thinking, okay, maybe maybe I just didn't get it. Maybe it's just maybe it's just the right time. I'll give it another watch down the road. But it's the out of all the Leatherface films, and I mean, like, see, I didn't because I saw it coming a mile away. And I'll tell you what bothered me. You knew it was coming because the other one was obvious. There's only one or two people that Leatherface could have been throughout that film. You knew that Leatherface was going to be in it. But the twist seemed just to have a twist. So that's, it's great that there's a twist, but if the person that kind of looks like the character and kind of acts like the character and then suddenly gets killed and isn't the character, and it's this character that is nothing at all like the character Leatherface, then it just seems like, in my not so humble opinion, that they just changed it just to say, ooh, look at the twist. Did you see that coming? Huh? Not who you thought it was, is it? You thought it was this guy, but it's this guy. That doesn't make any sense. Because although this guy's the right size for Leatherface, and he looks right, and he actually acts kind of like what you could see like a young Leatherface acting, let's take the skinny guy that looks nothing like the character Leatherface, that acts nothing like the character Leatherface, that actually is socially doesn't have any social anxiety disorders that would make him kind of the put-upon person in the family, and let's make it him. I didn't buy that. Really, see, I didn't buy it, and that's the reason. I think that's it stuck with me. It was like, no, but then again, I'm the person that didn't like the remake. Hey, B Movie Archive. I really liked in 2002, 2003, Texas Chainsaw Michael Bay remake. Like, a lot of people jumped on that train and loved it. I was not one of those people, man. Family, the Saz family is like huge and important, and I don't think that that very much. But Arlie Ermy was the only watchable part in the remake for me. Actually, that's kind of cool, I don't mind saying that. But the remake missed the family. Like, they had a family, but it wasn't a good. Arlie Ermy was like the only good portion of that film, in my opinion. And I always get bummed. And I love slasher films, so this is a weird gripe for me. When every single part of the movie having to go forward means that the character has to make the absolute dumbest decision possible in every sequence of the film. And the one with the guy's not supposed to be very nice. I mean, the guy was really mean to Gunnar Hansen. Andrew, whatever his name is. He was in Batman Returns as Christopher Walken's son. Andrew Borinsky, something like that, I think his name is. But yeah, so I never bought into that film. I didn't like the family, that's the thing. I liked Arlie Ermy, and I thought if this was a movie about Arlie Ermy and nobody else, I'm all in. But every decision that Jessica Biel's character makes is always the wrong decision. It's like, let's stay at this place too long. Let's throw the key out. Let's go looking for my boyfriend after being here for a suspiciously long period of time. It didn't work. It worked for a lot of people. Obviously, it was a really big hit, and it made the prequel, the beginning, where basically it's kind of like, here's these people that gotta die because this is a prequel, and So that's telegraphed. But that's just me. I mean, like, I'm in the minority there. Most people, like a lot of people, really, really love the remake and its prequel and stuff. Jason vs. Leatherface in space. In space. All right. Next up is Terror Train. This is now out of print. This is the one with the slipcover, and yes, I do have the sexy looking sticker on it as well. I'm a big fan of Terror Train. I've spoken about this one a lot. I think this was an underrated slasher film. What do I think is the worst horror franchise? Good question, actually. So is one, you mean one that I don't really like the films in, or just one that I think hasn't been handled well? Because it's different for me. I'd say like the ratio of like good to bad films type of thing uh, would probably like Leprechaun. Although I enjoy like certain aspects of the films, there's definitely a lot of like weaker ones. Like just somebody there just mentioned the Saw series, and if you don't like the Saw series, like the sequels are never going to win you over. But I did actually. I enjoyed the Saw films. Now they had some weak ones going through it. Uh, Overrated. It's a good one actually. That's a really good one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Uh, Overrated, or maybe it's rated just right. I'm not sure. No, people really hate on a lot of those, so that can't be overrated. I don't think Friday 13th is overrated because I don't think they've ever gotten like really great ratings in the first place. Nightmare on Elm Street has been pretty solid all the way through, aside from part six, so I really can't count that one. Um, the the remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre films that would equal it a franchise, so I would say that's overrated. But I really hate the word overrated because what I think is going to be overrated is overrated for me, or what I think is basically that's somebody else's favorite one, and I never like to think that I'm taking a swipe at somebody else's franchise, favorite franchise. Now for me, Cinematheque, I'll be honest with you, Halloween is probably one of the one I don't think is overrated, and I'll tell you why. Basically because with Halloween, with the Halloween film series, uh, it's actually pretty solid. Even the worst films in the Halloween series, and I don't include the Rob Zombie films because that's their own franchise. That's like its own thing. That's its own like kind of world. Hoax. That I liked Halloween. I like Pumpkinhead too. I know I'm in the minority. I know that, but the other sequels were straight to sci-fi ones. I guess in a way, some of the Wrong Turn ones too. I mean, like Wrong Turn 3 is like a horrible, horrible film. Really bad. Not even like remotely watchable. Return of the Living Dead after part two. Oh man, no, after part three, I guess. After part three, Return of the Living Dead. Because there's like four, five, and man, don't like if you've seen Return of the Living Dead, just check out those the first three. I don't want like animal attacks films. I definitely want spiders films. I'm arachnophobic, so definitely want that. Leprechaun 2 is good actually. Leprechaun 3 is watchable, and Leprechaun in Space is like so bad. It's fascinatingly good. 4 and 5. 4 and 5 what? Not Halloween. See, in my opinion, Halloween 4 is like one of the sequels because it does it right. It does it really right. In that Dwight Little goes in for part four and he says, okay, what works with the original Halloween? Well, like what really works? Like we don't have Jamie Lee Curtis. We're definitely going to go in a different direction with it. But let's get a Jamie Lee Curtis type of actress in here with Rachel Crothers' character. Um, oh Lord, no, yeah, they're really bad. I got them over there. They're so bad. There's like 4, 5, and 6 because there's what's Necropolis. Then there's another one. Oh, 4 and 5. Okay, I got 2 copies of Necropolis. How the hell did I end up with 2 copies of Necropolis? Oh yeah, I bought Necropolis for like $1 at one place, and then when I was working in St. John's, the person gave me like a box set with the last two films. See, I like the Purge series. I think the Purge series gets better as it goes along. Because the Purge series starts out kind of weak. It's and they got some good actors in the first one. Lena Headey's in the first film. It's but the film itself is pretty weak. The Purge series turns into this action series, and for me it just keeps getting better as it goes along. I haven't seen the first Purge yet. I do want to see that one. So that's the only one I haven't seen. I've seen the Purge TV series, which is kind of cool. The first season of that. I've still got a few episodes left to watch, but what I've seen I've liked. But yeah, so it's really hard for me to say. I mean, like Hellraiser definitely went downhill. Scream, yes, I love the Scream series, but could it be considered overrated? Yes, Cinematheque. I would consider that would be one that might be considered a bit overrated, even though I think they're really, really, really fun. Pulse is a series of movies that I didn't like any of them, so that's definitely overrated. Oh yeah, Debbie Dunn. Yeah, and I was disappointed she didn't do the nude scene because I'm like, really, the girl, from Home Improvement, the Tool-Time girl is gonna be in a horror movie? That means nudity, right? No, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. Terror Train. Isn't it fun how what's your ranking for the Scream films, Rich? I actually would like to know, because I would definitely give you my ranking for Scream films, and it's gonna be controversial because I have weird taste, but my ranking for the Scream films are 1, 4, 2, and 3, as in best to worst. Oh yes, that is mine as well. There is a lot of stuff behind. I could talk one of these days. We'll do a Scream. We'll do it on the Scream. We'll do like a thing on the Scream series, because we can talk about the films, the TV series, and then the new TV series. Hellraiser 9. Which one is the 9? Is 9? That's one of the new actor ones, right? Because the last couple. Is that the one with the kind of found footage camera aspect of it? And Hellraiser suddenly has this chiseled chin type of Hellraiser. Pinhead's this kind of chiseled chin and just doesn't work out. Because that's the one, yeah, that's pretty atrociously bad. But I think I found it. I know the franchise that I think is overrated. And I do like some of the films in it. But I have an answer. And that would be Paranormal Activity. Do I like some of the films? Yes I do. I actually can watch pretty much most of them, but overrated a bit. Especially when you get stuff like Ghost Dimension or marked ones, whatever the hell it's called. The Fog, one of my personal favorite John Carpenter films, definitely doesn't get enough love. And I always say, if you've been watching Halloween every year and mix it up a bit, watch something like The Fog. It's a cool little story, great actors in it. In case people came in there late, I'm doing my top 20 Scream Factory collector's editions with the slipcovers basically, and that is From Beyond. Not one of the weaker artworks for Scream Factory. The weakest probably still being Prison, but I'll tell you what, I'll do in the near future. I'll do an all Scream edition. I'll talk about the movies. I'll talk about the TV shows, because I'll talk about I'll do a little bit of research and I'll talk about some of the stuff that didn't make it. I'll even give a little kind of. Definitely, it is definitely a masterclass in slow burn horror, and it's done so well. All right. I would definitely say that. As much as I hate on Hoax, as much as I hate on the Rob Zombie Halloween films, at least I see Rob Zombie trying with the first Halloween film that he did with the remake. The Fog is I could almost not get through the thing. I mean, and it took me a couple sittings, in order to finish that film. I got to watch it again one of these days to see if there's anything at all I can take out of it that's any good. But I was mind-numbingly baffled with how bad that film was. Still, maybe I saw it at the wrong time. I never went back to it. I never felt the need. It's not one of those where I felt the need like I should go back to this film. I got to watch. I got to see what it's like, or I got to give it another chance. I just really never felt it. April Fool's Day was a horrible remake, but the cast was interesting enough, and the movie was just weird enough that no, I don't like it. I'm not don't get me wrong, but it's one that I have gone back to. I've watched it more than once, and I actually searched it out on DVD to give it another watch. And the film is just, it is. I mean, like it is really, really not good. Any horror films you would refuse to watch. I don't like stuff with animals being hurt. So usually, if I have the choice, I would punish. I do tend to go for animal cruelty-free films. Though there have been animals that unfortunately have been hurt, like in some films that I've watched. Obviously, Friday 13th, the snake really got killed. But I can't think of anything that I try to give everything a chance. One of the films I think that probably made me angriest watching, I mean, is in the way that it was done, it was probably a Serbian film. Because that, I think because I didn't believe the director. Okay, so here, this is the film, and it's like, this is my political statement. I didn't believe that. I believed that he made a film and he put a lot of exploitation into it, and he wanted to disturb, which is great, but be honest about that crap, man. Be honest. Don't like throw it. Oh no, this is art, or this is or this is like, oh, this is my political statement. I'm not a fan of the Serbian film. I never have been. I've said okay, I'll fight you, director, on your political aspect of the film, but that's just me. It has its audience. Prom Night, that's one that I thought worked for me. I'll tell you why Prom Night worked for me as the remake. Because I'll be completely blunt with you. Prom Night, I actually really like the original Prom Night. But that being said, I would be the first person to tell you, as a fan of the original Prom Night, it's slow. It's a slow moving film, and it does drag at parts. That's just it's the nature of the beast for like an early '80s slasher film, one of the original ones. The Prom Night remake basically was put in there. It was one of the during the PG-13 era, right? And it was put in there to kind of like, kind of hook kids on slashers that probably hadn't seen slashers before, kind of like a starting point type of thing. Nothing too, nothing too bloody or too serious, but disturbing enough that it was horror, and that worked for me. I think when you think about what the character goes through from the beginning of the film, for saying like her parents get killed, to how the film ends, which is definitely a throwback to When a Stranger Calls. That worked for me. It had a decent cast. Did everything work in the film? No. The killer, the guy that played the killer, I think it's Jonathan Shea, right? I thought he did a really good job. So I always think that's one of those underrated ones that'll basically be talked about later on down the road. Last house on the left. Do you mean the one with the microwave thing? Because I kind of like that. Like Strangers. One of the movies that scared me in the last 20 years the most was The Strangers, because real shit scares me. That's real stuff scares me. This something similar to this actually happened. I lived in an area basically that was out in the middle of nowhere, where this could have easily happened. And just the, because you answered the door, because you're home, because you're there, as the reason for doing it. Like, no complicated reason. No, you killed my family. No, your dad slept with my mom. No, 10 years ago you teased me, or somebody teased me and I want to kill you all type thing. No, basically they wanted to know what it's like to kill. And they went around and they found an isolated place and they answered. So, yeah, this scared the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie. This did scare the hell out of me. And when this came out, I was still living in the other house that we had. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know what I'm talking about. And in that house, I was isolated away from town. But so I could not buy it then. I had to wait until I moved into town before I bought the film, because I knew it would get under my skin. And that still, the fact that I did spend time in an area where there was like houses were not close to me for a year, and I was just so far out from like people that if I got locked out, if something happened, it was just me there. Because my better half travels a lot for work, right? That this film just got to me. That being said, when Strangers Pet Night came to the theater, I was in town. I had to wait for my better half. Went into the theater. I watched it. Had a blast. It was like an '80s throwback film. Love that stuff. Anyway, Strangers, definitely recommend it, guys. Great features on here as well. In the Mouth of Madness. I'm a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. And a film. Yes, I'm a film. I'm actually a film. It's just like the movie, so it's gonna be all creepy. No, in the Mouth of Madness always worked for me. Oh yeah, the real horrors is in reality, and yeah. In the Mouth of Madness works for me on so many different levels. I love this film, and I think it's so underrated. Definitely needs to be talked about more. Really? I think the second Wrong Turn is actually really good. I think the third Wrong Turn is junk. Like really, like literally, it's one of the worst, atrocious pieces of cinema it was horrible to watch. It was painful. But the second one worked really well for me. That's the one done with the reality show with Henry Rollins, right? Great blood in that film, man. Some great gore. The opening of that one, kick-ass opening for Wrong Turn 2. And then Wrong Turn 4 worked for me well. Then it was like 5, and then 6 is like, what the hell? Now, see, I'm going to say the third one is still, like, I'll watch Bloodlines 10 times before I try to sit through that third one with the comics. I just can't. It was so boring. I fell asleep, man. I fell asleep, and I woke up, and I turned it on to watch it again, and I fell asleep again. So I said, okay, I'm just going to start watching it from the spot where I left off, and then I fell asleep again. So I haven't had good experience, and I did watch it, and it was painful. I painfully didn't like it. But that's me. All right, Ginger Snaps, fantastic horror film. I really think this one belongs in everybody's collection. Again, it's one of the earlier Scream Factories had this blue thing on top, which you eventually got rid of. But you always know you got an early Scream Factory release when you got the blue banner. So I try to have as many of those as possible. Toys, of course. Sorry, Toys. God. Dolls. Excellent film. The year that this one came out, what year was this one again? No, not 87, no, what year did it come out? 2014? Yeah. So 2014, I think I gave this my release of the year for 2014 or 2015, whenever it came out. Just 2 more left in the Scream Factory top 20. So we're down to like kind of the biggies for me. And films that meant a lot to me. I will. Yeah, they really need to get those sequels, especially part two. I love part two. I love a lot of silent films. Mug, have a great evening there, man. I'm just got two more to go anyway, so you're gonna come in and see those later. So next up is Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'm a huge fan of the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. The first two are the good ones, and then you get 3, 4, and 5, which are films. We'll be doing them all over the Christmas holidays, by the way. I will be doing this review for all the Silent Night, Deadly Night films. So I'll probably do like a live review where we can talk about them all together. I will let you guys know ahead of time, and in case you guys want to watch the Silent Night, Deadly Night films, like as well, so that they're fresh in your mind when we talk about them too. I don't like anything where a dog gets, where an animal gets hurt, man. That's like a thing. Hey Brian, how's it going, dude? So I'm doing my top 20 Scream Factory collector's editions. I'm down to the last two. Silent Night, Deadly Night, way better a film than people give it credit for. The features on this one are incredible. The documentary is awesome, just awesome. But for me, only one film could beat it, and that is this one, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. This is one of the great bad movies of all time, with some of the most unique acting. I would love, if it was 3, 4, and 5, man, Warlock, that would be a lock for me. That would be like a lock right there. That is like, I would pre-order that one immediately, because that would be, I would kill to get those on Blu-ray with some nice features out. Vinegar Syndrome did such a good job with that. I would love to see that. Get me excited now, man. It's not going to happen though, but I would love to see it happen. If it happens, that you know this right away. That would be something to do. I don't own Black Christmas, Rich, on Scream Factory edition, not yet. These are only ones that I own. Black Christmas would definitely be here if I owned it. I own the Canadian special edition called the Seasons Grievings edition with the mini 16-page Rue Morgue book. But I will get the Scream Factory one down the road too. I own the Season Grievings one, which I think is a really good one. This is a ton of features on. I mean, like a lot of features. There's only one feature that I need the Scream Factory one for, actually, which was I think it was a documentary, Canadian documentary that came on the Space Channel. I think it runs about 45 minutes to 50 minutes long. That's the only feature I think that's maybe there's an extra commentary or something. But aside from that, all the other features are on the Canadian edition. And the Canadian edition has a better cover, which is kind of cool. Not that the Scream Factory one's bad. Oops. It's not. It's decent. Just like the Canadian one with the mini Rue Morgue magazine a bit more. But this one here is a film that I watched a lot. And I watched the documentary on this one probably even more. And Warlock, you don't have this one? The documentary on this one is really, really good. One of the best documentaries I've seen on a film release. There's a sequence in the one here. Yeah, I got all the indicator. I don't have Norman J. Warren set, and I don't have the Marlene Dietrich set, but I have the rest of the indicator set. So yeah, that is all the indicator sets in the background that you see. But there's a sequence in this film with what's his name again? Where's that? It should be here. Eric Freeman, who plays Ricky. And when you watch a lot of these films, and you get a lot of these cheesy films, and you got the garbage day line, that's kind of what you think. It's so bad, it's good, it's cheesy, it's fun to say to my friends, type of thing. And everybody's it's a fantastic documentary. Everybody's being interviewed for it. Like Eric Freeman's interviewed for Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And there comes a point in the film where he's, in the documentary, where he's talking, and he gets to a point where he's like, he said, well, I didn't know it was going to be this kind of cult bad, so bad it's good type of hit thing that it became. It kind of took me by surprise, because I went into it earnestly hoping to that this was good, this was going to help me. And he says the line that, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't think I'm going to get it completely correctly, that does haunt me a bit. And he says, I had plans. Like he sincerely wanted to make something, and was trying with what he thought was his best, and obviously it went in a different direction. And as as an actor, we want to ride that wave of like, it's popular for this anyway. But unlike the guy that played Billy in the first one, or some of the other people, like the guy that played in Troll, in the movie Troll 2, uh, Eric Freeman looked hurt when he said it. That he had put a bit, like, whatever you think about the performance, he had put a lot of himself into it. And it gets to a point where, he's trying to go along and he's talking about it. He's like, and I didn't think it was going to go that way. I had plans. I had hopes. I had aspirations. And kind of broke my heart a bit. Just a little bit. Because, it is one of those unusually unique performances. He definitely took some different, like, acting choices in it. But that stuck with me. It's always stuck with it. Always stuck with me, and I watched it over and over again. And as a guy that almost went down the road into like acting and stuff, I take some of that stuff to heart a bit. I guess I do. Anyway, so that was number 20. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. And if you don't own it, I do recommend you keep an eye out for it. It is a great addition. And if I was to like list like 5 Scream Factories, not even collector's editions, but 5 Scream Factories that came out in the last couple of years that I think everybody should own, I would put Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Urban Legends 2, and Valentine on that list. Oh, hey, hey. I normally do a Saturday night video, but this week here, my better half just got home. So we ended up just like having like a couples weekend. And I almost never made a video tonight, just to let you know. I do normally, if you're on my Instagram, which is Charm007, I do usually try to put a video up, like a short, like 30-second video, or at least a minute to 2-minute video at most, to let people know that I'm going to be making one of these videos ahead of time. Got tricked on Hammer. Oh, nice. The Hammer stuff is incredible. There's actually a Hammer. This is a cool Hammer shirt. I really want, actually, from Fright Rags, and all it does is got the Hammer logo, like in kind of like blood red coloring on it, and it's on sale right now. And thank you so much for that, Ryan, by the way. That helped lift me tonight, because I was getting kind of down after talking about that. Definitely. If you like Hammer, definitely do the Amicus releases as well. I do love a lot of the Amicus stuff. Now, Hammer runs more along the Gothic stuff. Now, Amicus looks more like, does a bit more modern, but their anthology stuff especially is really good. Now, they've done some like, kind of like Gothic-y stuff like in Now's Screaming Starts. But depending on what type of Hammer you like, too. But definitely, I would definitely look into them. There's a couple different companies, and I've been meaning to go back, because I did video like last year, like Hammer versus Amicus, and I did a couple videos on it. And Amicus said, "Oh, is that the one from Severin Films?" That's a great release, by the way. There's a 4th bonus disc on it that has like a ton of like trailers, like a trailer tape of like stuff. There's like hours of interviews. There's like 80 something like trailers on there. Fantastic. Let me know what you think. By the way, I really like that one. I got it over there in my it's not, you can't see it from here, but it's right there by my Nightbreed. I definitely got it. Severin has been knocking it out of the park with some of their releases lately. But I can do that. I can actually do like kind of an amicus type of hammer thing down the road. Michelle will hate it because I still haven't been able to get her in the hammer, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, at 105 minutes. Yep, that's how long I've been doing this stream here tonight. I want to thank you so much for coming in and joining me tonight. It is late where I'm at right now. It is like 3:03 in the morning. And again, I want to thank you guys so much. I am Aaron. My voice is going. This is the movie library. You guys are the movie club. And as always, you guys are awesome. And this video, if you like it, if you enjoy it, I'll be honest, it's just as good as it is because of your interaction and the stuff that you say. I learn a lot from you guys, and I appreciate that, and I love like talking, debating, and that type of stuff. So that's always fun as well. Thank you all. Have a great night. And for me right now, even though I got to go to sleep and I probably shouldn't be doing it, it's time for tea. Have a great evening. Enjoy your hammer.